taking its time launching. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Can You Survive Tides of War? I am back out here on the very sunny challenge field where players are moments away from competing in the second individual immunity challenge of this game. We are now in the merge phase for those of you just tuning in, and players are now in an individual game. We'll be competing for individual immunity. I had something else to say about that just now, and it has escaped me. Yes, I wanted to plug our Instagram because we have recaps. If you're just now joining us for the first time today, if you want to hop on over to our Instagram or our Facebook Reels/story, you can get a super quick recap for where we're at so far so that you're all caught up and can join us in on this action. All right, gonna step on over to the challenge area now where host Cam is waiting so patiently for me so that he can explain what this challenge will be.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know which way you were going with that.
I'm also confused by this. It really throws me off.
Left and right is tricky. All right, our survivors are going to be competing in our very own Can You Survive version of the New York Times Connection puzzle. We have head-to-head face-offs coming up where they will be given a set of 16 words, which can be grouped into 4 groups. They will have to put them in their 4 groups and call for a check. Now, there will only be 1 check per round. If you call a check too early and have it incorrect, your opponent will win. So you have to make sure you are absolutely certain. So it is a little bit of a mental game there for when you call for the check.
Wow, so they just get 1. They don't even get to verify, like, hey, these 4 are together. I can just take them out of my brain.
Exactly. And so we've already drawn for spots. What's going to happen is we drew randomly for the first 2. The winner will then stay in the challenge and select the next 2. They don't have to stay and compete again immediately, but they will choose the next 2.
Okay.
All right. We can call in our first 2 competitors, Molly and Alicia. But first, I will take back immunity from Dylan.
Alicia and Molly now approaching the challenge field. They will be the first to compete in this challenge.
Is back up for grabs. We're looking for a spot, a guaranteed spot in the final 10.
What? My brain. Yes, right. You're right.
Okay. Looked at me like I was completely insane. All right.
That would be me.
We have our 2 competitors set up. If anyone would like to see, you can stay in the shade if you don't want to. All right. Survivors ready. Go.
All right, Alicia and Molly now facing off in a head-to-head battle of the brains. They have 12 words that they will have to group up in different groupings. Alicia flipping a lot of stuff around over here.
Molly taking a lot of pieces off, whereas Alicia is just moving them around, trying to build pairs. As a reminder, your sets of 4 should move across horizontally.
All right, so let's get an over-the-look shoulder at Alicia's board here. If any of you are wanting to play along at home,
concentration right now,
and want to take a screenshot of this image so that you can also play, feel free.
Do not flip any of these tiles over.
Molly now
just a reminder to the competitors,
removing some tiles from the board again. Looking like maybe she's only locking in once she's feeling good.
Molly has 4 together. Not sure she feels they're correct. Shifting that a little bit. That's 2 sets of 3 now.
All right, let's switch on back over to Alicia, who has been staring pensively at her board for quite a while. Reminder, if you're just now joining us, these players can only call check once. So it is a battle between, do I hurry and call it and hope to clinch the win, and risk it? Because if I am not right, I am out.
Alicia hasn't moved a piece in a
Other
long
player
time.
would win by default.
Maybe double checking her work, or very confused. If you're watching, please try to be as silent as possible to avoid impacting the head-to-head bout right now.
Viewers, he means the onlookers
Yes.
here. You can be as loud as you want.
Please comment all the answers.
We want to hear from you. Sean, coming in late, wants to know, how are they grouping these words? They would love to know. They do not know exactly what these groupings are. They just know that there are 4 different groupings of 4 words, which I'm now doing the math on. It means they have 16 tiles, not 12, as I previously reported. Alicia just kind of looking on now over at Molly, seeing maybe how much more time she has before potentially being able to call a check.
Maybe settled. Molly's still working a few out. To be clear, on check, we will only be reviewing the person who said check. So you can't just sit if you feel you have it correct and wait. Okay, just wanted to be clear.
Molly now moving all her pieces to the other side of this board, wanting to take a look at them together. Alicia now looking down at her board again.
I'm not sure about something. Not sure about 2.
I'm gonna call it.
Oh, we called for a check.
Damn.
Incorrect. Alicia eliminated from the challenge. Molly stays alive. Molly, as the winner of this heat, you will choose.
Oh shit, you're kidding.
Just 2 wrong for Alicia.
Molly, not.
Spade and spider were flipped.
Oh.
Molly.
What is this? What is it?
Card game.
What the hell is spider?
A card game.
Card game.
Yeah, I've never heard
Molly,
of that
you will be selecting 2 more competitors to participate.
I would like our daily connections players, Dylan and Ty.
We did that to ourselves.
All right, Dylan and Ty.
And Ty. A head-to-head battle. You can stand right there and we'll get them set.
It's always us. I know.
All right, Dylan and Ty now waiting for this board to be reset. Some of the players waiting in the wings because they want to take a look at this challenge as well. This challenge created by our very own Ned, who was in the season of the Great Mountain, and wow, it is a really cool one. I was peeking over Alicia's shoulder and trying to solve it myself, and how exciting. Players looking to reset here. Looking like maybe we have 1 grouping, so I'm going to give all of you viewers a chance to take a little screenshot here if you want to play along with us. As Evan said, this is just like the New York Times Connections game, if anyone out there is familiar. You get 16 tiles, and you have to flip them around, kind of like Cam is demonstrating for us right now, and create 4 groups of 4 words. So we're just, again, making sure that they're set appropriately and fairly for each player. We'll just head on over to this one, give you a second chance at a screenshot. I think we're setting them the way setting them exactly in the same order for each player so that it is a completely fair playing field. Again, here you go, viewers at home, if you want to screenshot this or take a photo of this so you can play along. These are all original word groupings created by Ned, play tested by, I believe, Cam and Brandon. Cuties.
This way, forward.
All right, and we're setting our players.
No, I want them to be on this side, looking away from me.
Oh.
You're going to be facing away from each other. Right now, we're facing each other. Yes.
All right. All right, getting our last minute players settling in.
Correct.
Players facing off against each other.
Okay.
Literally and
Survivors
figuratively.
ready for heat number
Dylan
2.
and Ty.
Go.
All right, and away they twirl, looking towards their boards here. Ty immediately taking some words out.
Ty taking pieces off. Dylan
just switching them around. Dylan potentially feeling like he's onto something, moving things around quite quickly.
Moving a lot of things around quickly.
Ty switching things around as well. Looking like he's working super fast.
Ty looks like we might have 2 full rows planned out here.
Ty has now placed all of his back in the board, and Dylan calls check.
That's incorrect.
That is incorrect on Dylan's
Dylan is
board.
wrong, and Ty
Dylan
stays in this game.
Really quick. Mean Girls.
Fuck.
Mean Girls. Pulling up Dylan. Dylan eliminated. Ty, you're going to stay and select the next 2 competitors. Can Dylan and Alicia sit separately so that it's clear who is out of the challenge? Ty, make your 2 selections.
I will do Kevin and Zoe.
Kevin and Zoe will face off head to head. Thank you, Ty. We're going to have you stand here. You can stand in the shade quickly while we get it set up for you. We'll call you over in 1 minute.
All right, so because Ty won, not only does he stay alive in this challenge, but he gets to pick the next 2 players competing in this challenge. He has selected Zoe and Kevin R., who are waiting in the wings to come out to the challenge field. And in the meantime, our challenge team is resetting this challenge with a whole new group of 16 words. So as soon as one of them is set, we will go ahead and give you that bird's eye view so that you can get a screenshot or a photo and play along. All right, friends, here we are. Here is your look at this new group of 16 words. This is pretty fun to look at. I find myself trying to mentally solve it as well. So if you're playing along at home, here you are, last few moments of screenshot and photo time before we bring our players out.
Come this way.
All right, Kevin R. and Zoe now approaching the challenge field.
Close your eyes. A little bit of guidance here.
You want to hold my hand?
All right, Zoe, I am to your right. Here is my hand. I will just be leading you.
I got you, Zoe, now.
All right, thank you. And other players are now, of course, also curious and invested, creeping up to the challenge field so they can take a look.
Okay. Survivors ready. Heat number 3, go.
All right, and with that, Kevin R. and Zoe are playing this challenge. Again, we have 2 different strategies with the removal strategy by Kevin R. and the flip them around by Zoe.
Pairing them together, it seems. Where Zoe is moving them around in the board. Kevin has a group of 5. That's going to be difficult to fit into the board. 2 groups of 5.
6 over here.
Oh, tricky one.
7.
Zoe counting. I'm trying to think this one through.
Kevin R. now starting to place some back in his board.
Kevin has 1 row lined up.
Zoe with one piece in her hand, out of the board, taking a look around.
Has all things laid out, whether or not they are correct.
Check.
Calls check, and it is correct. Our first
Kevin
person
R.
to
calls
correctly
check
call
and
check.
gets it.
Zoe goes
Staying
over and looks
alive
at
in
what
this
she had
challenge.
wrong. All right, Kevin, you will be selecting 2 new competitors. You can select from anyone still alive. Zoe, Alicia, and Dylan are the 3 eliminated. Please keep yourselves separate so that it's clear.
You can re-choose people.
You can re-choose people if you would like.
Ty and Molly.
Ty and Molly both having to go back into the board. I'm going to have you stand right here for a minute while we have them figure that out.
All right, Ty and Molly have both previously competed in this challenge. Kevin R. now sending them both back out, potentially hoping to eliminate one of his larger competitions in this, as they have won as well as him. Here's our next board setup for the viewers at home. If you're following along, this is your chance to screenshot, photo, take it all in for the next 2 seconds.
I got you.
All right.
Well, I'll tell you that.
Molly and Ty now coming on out to the challenge field with their eyes closed to make sure that they do not get an unfair advantage of seeing any of the words before it is time to compete.
Both players are in position. Survivors ready. Go.
All right, and away they turn.
Both of
Neither one of them actually got to call check last time, but they won anyway. And here come the rest of our players now wanting to take a look and see what's going on. Kevin R., Dylan, and Meg M.
To be clear, this is a U. To be clear on this side, this is a U. Is that clear? Okay.
All right. Ty again using the same strategy as before of pulling them out, which he may or may not have learned from Molly, who did that the first time she competed. Molly with only one away, potentially, if she is right. Everything else set up on her board but one tile. Ty has several that are outside of the puzzle frame.
Ty appears to have one line that he feels confident about. Molly, it's hard to tell with this strategy.
Molly now calling for a
Molly.
check.
That's correct.
That is correct.
And Molly gets it, knocking Ty out of this challenge.
This word means or that word. They're words that describe tides.
Wow.
Oh, we love a theme here at Can You Survive?
Molly, Ty. Fortunately, you will be joining the losers on the left-hand side here. Molly, stay with me. Okay. You have choices to make. It looks like just... Oh, sorry. There are 2 stragglers.
Who hasn't gone yet? Oh.
Looks like 5 haven't gone. You and Kevin have both gone.
Okay. I'm going Ale and...
Ale and Drew.
All right. Ale and Drew, very eager to hit the challenge field. However, we're going to have them waiting in the wings while we check out the challenge for ourselves as it gets all set up by our challenge team. For those of you just joining, we are midway in an immunity challenge where players are going head to head. First player to call check and get it correct wins. However, if they call check and are wrong, they lose by default and the other player wins. So if you're following along at home, here is the next group of 16 words that they are organizing into 4 different categories.
We're good. We are now good.
All right, we are set and ready, and Ale and Drew are going to be led out onto this challenge field to take their places, competing for the first time in this challenge.
And now close them, and I'm just going to you around the table. And you are good. Oh, accident over here. All right, the next heat is ready. Go.
All right, and players now turning around.
And Drew working on
Ale
this.
almost immediately taking
almost
all
the
of
pieces
them
off.
out.
Drew getting a sense for all
Ale
of
now
them.
taking every single piece out of
Ale
the
has a
board, but
clear
quickly
board
putting
now.
a few back together.
Empty board, starting to build a couple different lines.
That, I think, is a new strat we haven't yet seen
That's
before.
the newest one. I haven't seen a clear board yet.
All right, look,
Drew
Drew
now building a few lines. Looks like
kind of
most
methodically
of the top half done.
switching some around here.
Ale, let's have 3 rows done. Are they correct? Looking now at a completed board.
Ale has now put all of these words back into this puzzle frame. Maybe just taking a look, wanting to make sure he feels good about this before calling check.
Calls check. And it is correct. 3rd time in a row we've had a correct check call. Drew.
These players are on a roll.
Drew, please sit on the left-hand side with our eliminated players. Ale, come join me. Of now the difficult decision of choosing.
Can we get our players?
Kevin and Molly, can you slide a little bit over? All right, there are 6 of you left. Who is playing the next
Ale
heat?
has won, stays alive in this challenge, and wins the right to select the next 2 competitors.
Molly going back up for a 3rd time, facing off against?
Kevin, because he can win.
Molly facing up against Kevin.
All right.
Cameron, Louie, and Meg have
Molly
not
and
even
Kevin
had to play yet. Stand right here. You're good.
Will be facing off in a winner v winner battle shortly. And let's go ahead and check out what words they will be playing with. Brandon spinning it all around. So players or future players that are watching right now and want to play along, here you go. You can take in these words for a few moments more.
Okay.
I love it.
Looks like we are ready to slide the competitors over.
As you should. This is so good.
I tell you to close them. And close your eyes now.
All right, and it looks
one
like
step forward, 1 step back, and you're in a good place.
And Kevin are now facing off.
Both competitors are set for the next heat. Go!
All right, and around they turn.
Both have a good amount of experience already.
Molly immediately switching a few around.
Both have provided a correct answer.
But staying within her frame this time. A little bit different than before.
Kevin taking nearly everything off.
Kevin removing
Molly
almost
keeping
everything.
to the same strategy of looking at all 16 together. Kevin with a few different groupings. Looks like they have a group of 2, group of 3, and it looks like 1 full group of 4. Molly switching rows around, switching piece for piece. Kevin appears stumped.
Molly with a couple in her hands here, maybe trying to figure out where they might fit. Kevin are now arranging and rearranging tiles on the outside of the frame.
That means 4 groups of 4 technically. Are they right? Molly, has everything on the board?
Kevin are
Still
still
making some
arranging and
switches.
rearranging
Kevin
tiles.
almost nothing on their board. Kevin's starting to play.
Molly taking in her board. Making
Kevin has 1 piece.
potentially a
Doesn't
few
feel like it
adjustments
has a
here.
home. 1 piece separate from everything else. Molly double checking. What she
Kevin
has
are
on the board.
with 2 pieces.
Check. Molly calls check.
Molly calls check.
Believe,
That is incorrect.
it is incorrect. This is gonna go up here, right, for clue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. What's the green guy's name?
Oh.
Mr. Green, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Green.
It's the game.
All right, Molly with an incorrect check, and Kevin stays alive. Molly will join our level 1. Kevin, stay with me.
Ooh.
5 of you left. What did I say? Who we're gonna play? Molly. Everyone trying to pass off this decision. Louie and Meg still haven't even had to try this immunity.
All right. Kim and Ale will now be facing off.
I was like, I'm ready either way.
Ale has played and won before.
Look at it. Oh, fuck. No. Okay, cool.
Getting the board set up.
All right, let's check back in with our boards here and see if we can take a peek at our next set of 16. All right. And for those of you playing along, here's your shot. Players will be momentarily coming on out here, trying to take all of these different words and group them off into 4 different groups that make sense with each other. This is very similar to the New York Times connections game, which I love. So if you're a wordy person, this might be the challenge for you.
Is this one set up for our participants?
We have to go.
We're good? Okay. I'll leave you over. Here, I'll hold Colby.
Cuties!
What a fun party here. All right. I'm going to have you slide over, Ale. Over. Close your eyes now. Touch your table to both of your lefts and slide over to the middle of it.
Just getting our players
Behind, there
set.
you go. You're in. You're all set up. Survivors ready. Go!
All right. Cam now attempting this challenge for the first time. Ale has already played and won.
4 left after this heat.
Ale doing his strategy again of removing almost everything out of the board and now rapid fire placing tiles back. Cam just kind of switching some stuff around.
Feels like this one might be a little trickier though. Cam making their first attempt at this. Hasn't had the experience that Ale has.
Ale now has a little
Seems
over
to have
half
a few
of
rows
the tiles
put
put
together.
back on his board.
Ale, just a few pieces left to put in. Are they right? Check on this side. It is incorrect. What needs to be swapped?
Which one?
Private
is
and rudder.
These are all what do you call them? Same forward and backwards.
Palindrome.
Palindromes.
Oh.
What was it?
All right.
Oh,
Alex been
clever
eliminated.
category
Alex,
there.
join.
Palindromes
Now
ended
the
up
losers
tripping
is
it
Adam
up.
Fuller. Cam, you're making a selection. The two who haven't played finally get picked.
All right. Looking like
So
Meg,
we
M,
have
and
Louis
Louie will be
versus
waiting in the
Meg.
wings before they enter
Stand
the
here.
challenge field for the very first
Finally
time.
having to get there first.
They got to relax in the shade while they just waited for their turn. Our lovely challenge crew just getting everything set and ready for them.
It would be good for the viewers.
All right, and let's go take a peek at this completed board. 16 more words for you to figure out here at home.
We're good. Good. Keep your eyes open.
All right. Meg and Louie now coming on over to the challenge field.
Eyes closed. I'm going to push it backwards. Probably feel out for the table.
There we go.
There we
Louie
go.
set
Spin
and
a little
ready.
this way.
Meg set and ready.
All right. Survivors ready. Go.
All right, Louie and Meg, neither one have attempted this challenge yet. They've only walked on. Or they've looked on, sorry. Meg doing the strategy of removing almost everything. Looks like Louie is doing the same.
Taking everything off, so same with Meg. Meg has a row back on. Louie nothing yet, but looks to be clumping them together in groups. Louie now putting some on. Louie seems to think he has a row.
Meg placing one tile, but looking in a whole other direction. Perhaps wondering where things need to go, which I guess is the
Meg
whole
is slowing
challenge.
down. Not a lot to say about this challenge while they're doing it. It's okay. I'm excited watching. Kevin and Cameron discussing the challenge, trying to figure out who they might have to face. The winner could put themselves back up here, but I would guess they will be facing off in a second. Looks like Louie with 2.5 rows nearly completed.
Both players, this is their first time out here, so they're taking their time.
Louie reevaluating.
Meg M appearing pretty intentional about what she's putting where. Louie now staring over at a group of tiles that is off of his board, perhaps wondering what he should place next.
2 full rows. Until the final 2 rows. Boy, her piece is blown away. Gust of wind might have shifted things up. It's nature's shuffle button.
Louie with all his pieces now back in this puzzle frame,
Louie's got
taking them
everything
all
on the
in.
board, contemplating the special word. Double and triple checking. He goes where a check.
Louie asks
And
for a check.
unfortunately is incorrect. Silver and great were shifted.
The Great Mountain. Blood vs. Water, Great Mountain, Hunter's Moon, Tides of War, and these are nicknames
All
of states.
words in CYS titles. A little promo for Hunter's Moon coming in the fall. But Meg stays alive. Meg, you have an important decision to make. You could put yourself back in, but she's going to take a rest. Kevin and Cameron going to face off for a right to get into the championship round.
Ooh.
Meg only had to play once to get into the championship round. I believe you both already will have played at least twice. Kevin, 3. This is your 3rd, right? Okay. Just getting the board ready.
All right, let's head on back over to take a peek at these boards ahead of the players. All right, everyone, for those at home, here we go. This is the next set of words. As you can see, the categories could be literally anything. And oftentimes, a lot of the words could fit together in more than one way. So it becomes a decision of, well, what is correct and what actually belongs with another grouping. Here comes Cam, escorting Kevin R. and...
Table's coming up. Eyes closed. Gonna shift you backwards now. Spin. Great.
There we go.
Survivors ready. Go! These two fighting for a chance to be in the final 2 of this
Kevin R. very quickly removing lots of pieces from his board. Cam removing a couple, shifting a couple.
And a guaranteed spot in the final 10 of this game. Pressure is on. Kevin has already defeated 2 members. Cam with 1 victory so far. Kevin appears to have 1 row complete.
Cam now reaching a little bit of a pause here as he takes in the board that he has created.
Yeah, 2 pieces that doesn't feel like fit into the leftover row there.
Kevin R. has some on the board and some on either side. He was flying to get all of them off the board, taking his time putting them back on.
Not sure what's not fitting in here. Kevin going back to the drawing board a little bit. Feels like there's a group of 5. Not sure what doesn't fit in with that group of 5.
Cam making some adjustments to the board that he has set.
Cam, a full board, mulling,
Not right.
knows that it's not right, or feels that it's not right. Check over
and Kevin R. calling for a check.
Correct to me, Kevin. 3rd win. I believe you had Dirt and Skywalker switch.
Road.
Dirt Road.
Roads
Silk
was
Road,
what
High Road, Rocky Road.
up Cam. Kevin gets it
survives. We
and
have
earns
our
a spot in the
final
final.
matchup. They've gotten here in very different ways. Kevin about to play his 4th matchup. Meg just her 2nd.
All right, and we've now reached the championship round of this individual immunity challenge, moments away from figuring out who will win individual immunity. Let's go ahead and take a peek at our final set of 16 words in this connections themed game. right, let's head on over to the challenge field ourselves and take in this last set of 16 words. This will be our championship round to determine who will win individual immunity.
How's that?
All right, we are set and ready, and our challengers are entering the challenge field.
Not gonna bump you into the table, don't worry. Come this way, come this way, Meg, a little bit. Like that. Reach out to the table. You're good. All right. Our final championship matchup. Survivors ready? Go! A spot in the final 10 on the line here between Kevin and Meg. Kevin is
Players
1-3
looking
already.
on now to see who will win.
Meg, only one.
Perhaps playing along themselves. Meg taking a lot of the pieces out of her board and placing
Meg feels
some
like
back.
they might have a full row.
Kevin R with many more pieces on his
clumping
board.
some together. Telling himself to remain calm.
Said nothing.
Be the difference for your game.
Let's take a look at Meg's progress here. She
Meg
has
now,
lots of tiles now back in her puzzle
3
frame.
full rows almost. Do they fit
Our other
correctly?
players just watching on from the sidelines.
Meg with 3 pieces left to place. Kevin, not a lot on his board. Doesn't mean anyone's ahead of the other, though. I'm not sure how those last few fit into what she has on the board. Kevin seems to have 2 groups of 4. Meg now moving things. Maybe has an idea. Rearranging one full row. Changing things up a little bit. Now piecing some new ones together. The entire tribe looking on, anxious to learn who they can't vote. Check from Megan, it is correct.
Check and gets it.
Kevin had won 3 in a row. Couldn't complete the last win. Meg only needed to win 2 to take home immunity.
You did.
Meg, come on over.
Put on that big necklace.
Meg has won immunity, cannot be voted out this round, and has a spot in our final 10. Give you some time to deliberate, and I'll see you all at Tribal.
All right, and with that, we are now finished with our second individual immunity challenge of the game. Players will be given a little bit of time to strategize before they head back into Tribal Council, where they will vote out the 3rd juror in this game. So we will be back here in about 30 minutes, if I had to guess, and see you then.